Doing well, an NBA player from Atlanta says he is feeling okay after testing positive for COVID-19. Indiana Pacers guard Malcolm Brogdon still plans to join his teammates when the NBA season picks back up. Brogdon graduated from Greater Atlanta Christian back in 2011. Virtual convention. Democrats now say they have a plan for this year's political convention in Milwaukee. Most of the DNC will be held virtually because of the pandemic, but Joe Biden will still accept the nomination in Milwaukee. The event will move to a smaller venue and delegates will cast their votes remotely. The convention is set for August 17th through the 20th. VP Watch. Georgia Democrat Stacey Abrams says diversity is key when Biden considers who to pick for his vice president.
There's a signal that can be sent by having a black woman on the ticket. There's a signal to be sent by having a woman of color on the ticket.
During an interview on MSNBC, Abrams did not comment on her own prospects for being selected as Biden's running mate. Biden has committed to the selection of a woman for VP.
A high school grad